Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.
Hi, I'm Cherry Johnson with Watauga County Arts Council. And you know, a lot this winter I was helping to promote the Appalachian Theater Department and all the great productions they do. But there's a whole nother section to the theater world in our county, and a big piece of that is Ensemble Stage. And we are very, very proud to have today with us Gary Smith, who is the out front man for Ensemble Stage. There's more behind the scenes.
Yeah. Lisa Lamont is our managing director, but I'm the artistic director and I handle all the fun stuff, basically, is what it comes down to.
You get the fun and she does the work.
Yeah, she said that the other day. She says, you get to do all the fun stuff. But and she's right. I get to do the fun stuff. So,
but you're a great team.
Oh yeah, we work well together. Been working together for a long time, and putting together Ensemble Stage back, and we're going into our 5th year.
But it's not just Gary and Lisa. It's more to Ensemble Stage than that. He's looking at me like, who?
Yeah, did we hire somebody I don't know
Don't you
about?
involve community?
Oh, well, of course, yeah. I wasn't sure where you were going with that, Cherry.
That was it, community.
Yeah. No, we always try we want it to be an outlet also. I mean, we're professional theater. And
you are.
And we do professional shows in the summer, but...
well, explain that. People don't really understand what you're talking about. Sometimes I have trouble understanding what you're talking about. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
You are a theater company in that there are 2 people who are basically keeping the whole thing rolling forward.
Right.
And then you involve a lot of other people in the process, whether they are professionals or whether they are community members. How does that happen?
Well, like I said, it's our professional season is we bring in professional actors to do our shows.
So you choose a production.
We choose
and
a
you say,
production.
we're going to need this person.
And I hold auditions, and it's not just. I mean, I cast based on who's best, whether it be somebody who is an equity actor, which is the Union for Professional Actors, or whether it be a local actor who's just very good and really fits well with this role.
We do have some.
Oh, yes, we do. Yeah, absolutely. But again, the problem with our professional season is it's a much more rigid schedule.
Right.
We do, and a lot of people don't realize that we do rehearsals for a upcoming production. We spend 3 weeks, 8 hours a day, 6 days a week in rehearsals.
Tell them what you just told me about the iceberg.
Oh yeah. Well, if you go to our Facebook page, I found this great picture, and it's a perfect example of theater and probably the arts in general. But it's a picture of this iceberg that shows the iceberg above the waterline and below the waterline. And below the waterline, there's this great big mass of this iceberg down below the waterline that nobody sees. And below that, that is captioned rehearsal. And then above the waterline, you got this little bit of an iceberg left.
Which
that's
is
up there on the top.
beautiful and shiny.
Beautiful and shiny and looks pretty, but it is so much smaller than what's below the waterline, and that's called performance.
And it's supported by what's below the waterline.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot involved and especially with professional actors who obviously do this for a living, because that's why they're called professional. But there's a lot of research that goes into roles and things like that.
Well, that's one thing Gary and I were talking about before we started taping this segment, is that in working with any actors, I'm always amazed at what you have to do to learn a character well enough to really portray that character. You know, the research that goes back into Roman history or whatever it is you're working with, is way beyond what most of us would think about doing.
Yeah.
A lot of people think you just get the script and you say the lines.
Right.
But there's more to it.
There's a lot more to it. Yeah. We usually get scripts, especially for our professional season. We get scripts to our actors as soon as possible, and that's like for our 3rd show, A Bench in the Sun, this summer, which we won't even start rehearsals until middle of July. We've already sent them their scripts. That's to give them that opportunity, because they do what's called a breakdown of the script, and they take line by line, character by character. And it's not just their character they have to research.
Right.
They have to look into, and even if it's a fictional character, which obviously makes it harder because you have to create this life and this whole process of living of this character yourself, and like I said, sometimes that makes it a little bit more difficult than when you're having a true it's a true story. You know, the diary of Anne Frank. You've got Anne Frank, and you've got a lot of research stuff you can go to. Whereas if you're doing, like I said, a Bench in the Sun, it will have it'll give a profession of somebody.
And that's about all you got to go with.
And you have to research that, and you also have to figure out what the dynamics are in your relationships with the other people you're on stage with. It's something that I always tell the kids in our camps, and that I when we do community shows, explaining to people that these characters are alive before they walk out on stage.
Right.
You have to create a life for them. They have to have been coming from somewhere to come onto that stage. It's not just suddenly poof, they appear and their life begins.
And the playwright does have a big role in this, but they don't do it all.
No, absolutely not.
And that's the thing, I think there's sometimes a disconnect between what people think happens and what really happens, is that the playwright is really important, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But they can only do so much on paper.
Right, exactly.
And then it has to go from that to...
And it's nice, too, that they don't do a lot, because that gives an actor a chance to be creative, because every actor has a different interpretation of a role. And I know that's one of the first things whenever I don't get much chance to act anymore because I'm so busy directing and doing the ensemble stage stuff, but that was one of the first, that was my biggest rule of thumb, is that if I got cast in something, if there was a movie out about it, or if it was being performed at another venue someplace, I would do everything I possibly could not to go see that, and I just wouldn't.
Because you would be mimicking what you saw.
I didn't want something to get absorbed into my subconscious and go, okay, well, that was a cool bit, so maybe I'll do it that way.
Yeah.
It all needs to be organic, and it all needs to come from what's inside you and what you interpret.
It's genuine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's acting's just being real.
And that's why you can go see the same production many times done by different groups or stage companies or wherever they are.
Right.
And it feels different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's not a outline of how this character needs to be and that character needs to be. It's all based on the interpretation of the director. And then, of course, the actors themselves, they throw in the mix. I did a show one time that it was a really neat piece that we did, and a prime example of these characters have a life rather than when they're just on stage. Between Act 1 and Act 2, Act 1 ended with them going to start dinner. Act 2 was as dinner was finished, when dinner had just finished up. And this director had us at intermission.
Go get something to eat?
No, he would have back in the green room, he would have the table set up just like it was on stage. We would continue to be our characters.
Wow.
We would have conversation and stuff like that.
So no snapping in and out of character.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and it was a great exercise for an actor to do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, now let's talk about your season this season. First off, I want to say the Watauga County Arts Council is a vehicle through which state money is funneled into our community. The North Carolina legislature allocates money each year. Grassroots grants money is what it's called in our language. They allocate that money, and then it's our responsibility as the designated county partner for the state to then find ways to funnel that money out into the arts in our community. And those are called grassroots grants. So we have to match the money at our level, so we get our match from Watauga County Commissioners. The money that they allocate to the Arts Council is the match that we use to funnel this money on out. And then we sub-granted on out, and one of the groups that got funding this year was Ensemble Stage. Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
And they had to match it with their money. So there's a big ripple effect. So the state money is getting matched and matched and matched. So it's having a huge impact by just dropping that little drop in the pond. All these ripples go out and affect so many people.
Absolutely.
You know, and that is a beauty of that program. I think it's one of the best programs to really make things happen.
Absolutely,
in the arts,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, and not just for us. I mean, it's just great all around.
Yes, it is.
To provide that kind of opportunity and that kind of assistance to all forms of the arts.
You're right, and that's what it does,
Yeah.
all forms of the arts. And it can be done by groups like theirs, which is an arts organization, versus also there are school classrooms that are getting funding to do an arts-related program. So it's very broad into how we can make things happen. What are you doing with your money?
Well, where we do our shows is the Blowing Rock School Auditorium. And because of the bad winter that we had up here, the school was closed quite a bit of the time. And school will actually be getting out 2 days before we open our first show, Searching for Eden, which is Searching for Eden, and then in parentheses, the Diaries of Adam and Eve. Because school is getting out that late and because we use their auditorium, we can't really get in there to start putting in sets and things like that till school is out.
Which does take a lot of time.
Yeah, it does, yeah. And especially for this, because you're talking about turning, I mean, in first act, the Garden of Eden is as you expect the Garden of Eden to be. Act 2 is the Garden of Eden, but now it has been turned into the Resort E.
Right.
And it's modern times, so everything changes and shifts, and like the reflecting pool in Act 1 becomes the jacuzzi in Act 2.
And in set language, that's a big deal
That's a big
to make
deal.
those changes.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also just other elements, other logistic elements of that. And knowing that we would only have 2 days, we had to come up with some creative ways to create that environment for the audience and for the
Rapidly.
actors. Yeah, rapidly. And that was one of the things we came up with some ideas, and that wasn't originally on our plans to do it that way. So whenever you got to do things that way, sometimes it costs more money, and in this instance it did. And so we came to the Watauga Arts Council and said, hey, look, this is our deal, and this wasn't in our original budget, but because of the situation, we'd like to have some help with having the money to
Right.
put this in place.
Right.
And it was a godsend to us, because now the Arts Council is helping, the Watauga Arts Council is helping us out with that set budget, and we're going to be able to give the people exactly what I envision as a director for them
That's
to see
great.
on stage.
That's
Yeah.
great. And they're going to get to see this production when?
We open June 15th, and it runs through June 23rd, I believe. Yeah.
Now, that's the beginning of a wonderful season. Tell us about this.
Yeah, that's the beginning of our summer professional season, and then we got our second show is called Mind Game, which is I don't want to give too much away. Basically, basically what it comes down to is nothing is as it seems. From what you see and what you hear at the beginning of the show, it's completely different at the end of the show. And it's very Twilight Zone-esque. I can't give too much away, but it's a suspense thriller. It's basically a writer has come to a sanitarium where on the 25th anniversary of the serial killer's incarceration. He wants to interview this serial killer after 25 years.
Wow.
And the administrator and the nurse are not letting him meet with this serial killer. And they're being very vague about it and things like that. And as the show progresses, as I said, I'm not going to give too much away, but things are just not as they appear. And it's a great, we do, the way we pick our summer season is we do play readings, where everybody's invited. It's free. People can sit there and be a part of the reading or just listen to the show. And I'll tell you what, we haven't had, I thought last year's suspense thriller we did was great, called Fit to Kill. But we had such a response with this, just in the play reading with this, of people going, just in a play reading, and there's a lot of logistics involved, but that's going to be a great show. And our third show is called A Bench in the Sun, which basically it's these two guys have been lifelong friends. They live in this retirement community, and a former famous actress has moved into the community, and suddenly these two guys are at odds with each other, trying to vie for her attention in various unique ways that they do. And basically, it just comes down to the whole premise of the thing is, you know what? Just because you're retired doesn't mean you're dead, and it's a lot of fun. And then our fourth show is Bedside Manners, which is your typical British farce of misdirection and misunderstandings and misrepresentations and things. And basically, it takes place in an out of the way bed and breakfast country inn, and this man and woman come in to have an affair there at this hotel, and another couple come in to do the same thing. Well, come to find out, this man is married to this woman, this woman is married to that man, and the only one the one that has figured this all out is a concierge, and so the madness ensues of him trying to keep them separated, and them not knowing that the other couple's here, and things like that. It's a lot of fun. Very, very funny show.
Sounds like a fabulous season.
Yeah.
And they can buy season tickets and get it all in one big package?
They can. We've got season subscriptions for the 4 shows, and you're not going to beat this deal anywhere with for professional theater, or for that matter, really, I don't know if there's any community theater that can give this kind of a deal. But it's $68 for an adult season subscription, $60 for a senior, student, or military subscription to the 4 shows.
That's not even $20 a ticket.
No, it's not. It's not. Our normal ticket price, it actually comes to $17 and $15 per ticket. Our normal tickets, when we sell single tickets, those will be going on sale towards the end of May. Those will be $19 for adults, $17 for students, seniors, and military, which is still a good deal.
I was going to say, if anybody buys tickets, those are bargain basement prices for high quality work.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, that's really cool.
Absolutely, and you know what, and that's, I have to explain that to people a lot, that's what the arts is about.
Yes.
Not just theater, not just music. It's about, on our end, it's about making the arts and the performing arts accessible to as many people as possible. And the best way to do that is maintaining a low ticket price.
Right.
And I mean, there's and a lot. I have a lot of theaters have gotten away from that. I mean, when your bottom line ticket is $35,
right?
Joe Blow out on the street who might be interested in it, but times are tough.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be as ready to give that a shot or go see something as if it's. We insisted on, and we've got a great board, and all of us pretty much insisted on, we've got to keep prices below $20. It has to be below that, and to give that access.
Well, now let's talk about that now. People can become involved in Ensemble Stage by being a patron and by coming to the shows.
Yep.
But they also can come to the readings, right?
Oh, yeah.
And those are free. Yeah. And so they can also volunteer with you?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we always need volunteers, and that's, I mean, because we rely a lot on that, because one way that we're able to keep our costs down is to have that volunteer base.
Right.
So I don't have to hire somebody to come in and strike a set. I don't have to hire somebody to come in and usher and things like that. So yeah, we always need ushers. We need help on striking sets, building sets to a degree, but there's an art to building a set.
Maybe if you follow directions well.
Yeah, and it's very funny. One of the hardest things is every once in a while I'll get somebody who is a general contractor, and they'll come in, and they know what they're doing, but they know what they're doing for building something to last 30 years.
Not for a few
I need
hours.
it to last 3 weeks. And you leave them by themselves, and they've got studs that's 16 inches on center. No,
that's expensive.
Yeah, and heavy to move. But
there are wonderful ways that everybody out there can become part of Ensemble Stage.
Absolutely.
Not just go and just see the shows, which is wonderful, but also you can actually get in the action.
Yeah, and our volunteers, I mean, like our ushers and concession workers, they see the show for free, so they don't have to buy a ticket.
How about that, folks?
So yeah, it's So even if you love the arts and even if you can't afford that kind of a price,
Right.
there's still an opportunity to come and be involved, and it won't cost you a dime.
I think that's really, really, really important. You just mentioned how tough times are, and there are some folks who just really want to go, they just can't afford it.
Absolutely.
And so there's a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, you usher or work in sessions or work our art in the park booth that we have,
Yes.
things like that, or like I said, helping strike a set. Every once in a while, we need help with painting, whatever. I mean, if you want to be involved, we'll figure out a way to get you involved, and we'll try to do it in a sense of something that you enjoy doing.
Right.
I mean, if there's somebody out there that we had a lady one year who she loved thrifting, loved going to the thrift store, and it was
That's actually good.
It
You
is.
get all
It is.
bicycles.
It is because I'll tell you what. Because like you mentioned, it's me and Lisa, and I spend my typical day in the summer is 8 hours in rehearsal, running the show that night, and then after that show, the show that's up and running at that time is done, then I'm working on the set for the next show.
Right.
So, my average day is between 18 and 20 hours during the summer. And Lisa's is the same way.
Well-
and she does props and costumes, but this lady, she loved thrifting, and the fact that she didn't have to spend her own money.
Made it fun.
but she had fun. She went out and she got a bunch of our props for us just by going out and thrifting. Took a lot of time off our hands of having to go out there and search for these things.
Exactly.
Because again,
so she had fun. You got the
exactly,
benefit.
exactly, and not only that, she got to spend money, and it wasn't any of her money.
Right.
And she got to come see the shows for free.
That's
and
fantastic.
things,
Well,
yeah.
win-win-win.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you said it's you and Lisa, but let's make this clear. You are a nonprofit organization.
Absolutely, yes.
So, and to qualify as a nonprofit organization, that means there is a board of directors. And they follow certain rules, their bylaws and all
Exactly.
that. And so it is bona fide, they're above board. This is not just supporting Gary.
No, yeah, absolutely not. Yeah. If only.
You can always dream.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Come be a part of this. The energy and the excitement in the arts is it's contagious. And if you get involved, you just can't stop. You just enjoy it, know.
And I'll tell you what, and it's not just, as much as I love theater, I was a cop for 20 years. And the whole time I was a police officer, the best time that I was when I worked undercover narcotics, because I got to act.
But you had a great time.
I did. But I'll tell you what, arts is just infectious, and there's something inside of you that that you love what you do. And if there's something out there artistically that you're interested or want to be involved in, and you're not sure how to get started with that or anything, contact these guys. Because I was saying before, we did radio interviews before this, but I was saying before, I've lived in a lot of communities or worked in a lot of communities where they had an arts council, but they were just kind of a face there. You guys, I love the way, particularly, and it doesn't have to be performing arts, and it doesn't have to be music or anything like that. I love the fact that the way you guys promote and help with the quilters and the potters and you guys had the basket weavers.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. So I guarantee there's something out there that you love artistically, whether it be, once again, theater, or whether it be you want to do basket weaving. Give these guys a call, and they can put you in touch with somebody that could help you out with that.
Right.
Because that's another great thing about the arts is it's a communal feel.
It is.
It's not, oh, this is mine, you can't do
Right.
this. We're always ready to share our knowledge and to help, because we know what a joy it is to do what we do.
And we gain from helping each other too. There's
Absolutely.
no better way than to help each other.
Yeah.
So we encourage you to be part of this circle. It is a big circle, and it's a very open circle, and we invite you to be part of it, whether your particular niche goes in the direction of ensemble stage or, like you said, basket weaving. Or whatever it is. Speaking of which, don't forget about Blue Ridge Art Space. It'll give you all kinds of opportunities to learn any other kind of art forms. We're not going to be teaching much theater there because we're going to send you over to talk to them.
There you go.
All right, now where is your website?
It's on the internet.
Good place.
At ensemblestage.com, or you can email us at info@ensemblestage.com if you got any questions. But our website is very intuitive and real simple to work. We've got an onstage page that tells about all of our upcoming summer shows. We've got a box office page where you can go in there, and something else about the season tickets. We sold out over 70 performances last year.
So you want to get
so
your
if
tickets.
you want to be assured of getting a seat this season, get season tickets.
Yeah.
And but you can, like I said, the website, you can call us at 828-414-1844. And if you haven't been able to tell by now, I'm always ready to talk about theater. So if you have any
Almost
questions,
24 hours a day.
almost 24 hours a day, exactly. But yeah, give us a call or email us or go to our website, and there's access to that. And season tickets are on sale right now. Single tickets will be on sale starting the end of May.
Okay.
But yeah, give us a shout, folks. Come on out and see us. It's a lot of fun. It's very laid back and casual.
And
This is my uniform. I even wear it on show days. This is what we wear. I want people to feel relaxed because the arts isn't about being stuffy.
Yeah.
The arts is about having fun and enjoying yourselves.
Expressing yourself. And Gary has a really hard time expressing
Yeah.
himself.
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much for joining me.
You bet.
I really enjoy talking to you.
Oh, well, thank you. I
It's
do
always
too.
great to have you again, and we look forward to learning more all through the season about all the cool performances as they come up.
Excellent. I'll
We'll
be happy to
learn
talk
more.
about that.
Yeah, I bet you will. Check us out too at watauga-arts.org to learn more about this and so much more.
Watauga Arts Council with your host, Cherry Johnson, serving arts in Watauga County for more than 30 years.